All right. Well, welcome everybody to our workshop. We're calling it The Journey into Games as a Software Engineer. We are Kabam. I am China O'Brien, a talent acquisition person here at Kabam. And we have a few people here with us during the Queer Tech Job Fair that you can have one-on-one chats with. So take a look at our Kabam section, and you can find all of us to do one-on-one chats with. We'll be here today and tomorrow. So take a look for that. And we'll start off today by introducing you to John Harvey. He is our technical director on one of our games, Disney Mirrorverse. And I'll let you, John, take over from here, and I'll see you at the end and let you know how maybe you can become a part of Kabam as well.
Thanks, China.
No problem.
So a little bit about myself to introduce myself. I am a software engineer here at Kabam. I'm a technical director, one of several working on different projects. I'm working on Disney Mirrorverse, which is a mobile free-to-play game. We've been working on it for a few years, and we're really excited about it. Not yet worldwide launch. A little bit about my background. I went to Simon Fraser University, which is in Vancouver. You may not have heard of Simon Fraser because it's not the big name university in Vancouver. I have a degree in electrical engineering, which is not your traditional degree for video games. A lot of people have computer science, but it's not a requirement. Lots of people in the games industry and in Kabam specifically have either a degree, but not in necessarily computer science, or have gone to specialty schools like a gaming school to learn about computer gaming, 2-year programs, that kind of thing, and walked in that way. I've worked at a number of companies in town, some of them big, such as EA, some of them foreign. I worked for Capcom, which is based out of Japan. I worked for Slant 6, which is a little indie studio, sadly no longer with us. But for the last 4 years, I've been with Kabam. I've worked on a couple of different titles here, Disney Mirrorverse being most recent, but also working at Contest of Champions, which is one of our larger games. Can we go with the next slide? So first, I wanted to tell you about why games. Well, if you're at a place and you're making a choice about your career, why would you want to consider video games? There's a number of things that I really like about video games generally. It's a creative industry. So the engineering team is not the majority of the team making the product. You have designers, you have artists, you have UX specialists, you have production, which are going to get your schedules all together. Lots of different people working together in order to make a team. I myself don't know much about audio, but we have great people that do audio as an example. And working with these people, you learn a lot about a lot of domains that you don't necessarily, you may not have studied in school, that kind of thing. One of my favorite parts about the industry is that it's competitive. Everybody has the same kind of iPhones in their pockets, same kind of Samsung or Google or whatever your Android device is. And the difference between Kabam and other games is how well we use that hardware. How good of a game experience can we give you without burning up your battery? How effective, how quickly can you get into the game? All these kind of things we're using the same hardware, but we need to make a better game. And that means that I, as an engineer, need to be smarter. I need to be more clever. I need to figure out a better way to solve these problems. And I like that kind of space where I'm up against relatively hard challenges. Other people are up against the same challenges. And the only difference is how much intelligence or effort I can put into these kind of things. Last about why games. Games is generally a growth industry right now. You're seeing hiring from junior engineers to senior engineers. There's a lot of hiring going on in the games industry. We're expanding. Netflix, for instance, had a large announcement last week that they're starting a game studio at the highest level. But at the same time, you'll see lots and lots of little indie studios starting up looking to hire 1 or 2 people. Kabam's kind of in the comfortable middle there. We are no longer an indie. We're a fairly large company, 400 people in Vancouver, but we're not huge. So you can have an impact on the company and the culture, and make a difference with where you work. China, go to the next slide. Thanks. So a little bit more about Kabam. We make free-to-play mobile games, and that some people are really familiar with them, know exactly what I'm talking about. Other people have never heard of this kind of thing. Basically, anybody in the world can download our game. It's free. You can play as much as you want. There are options to buy things in the game. A lot of people might buy a subscription. So every month they get some extra bonuses, which they can use in the game. Unlike other industries like, say, film or packaged goods industries where you have a single product release every year, this means that we have a stable month-to-month revenue stream. So we make a good game, people want to play it. We get revenue every day from players all around the world. And this is leads to a stable kind of business. You're not in a kind of feast and famine. You're not growing like crazy and then getting small like crazy. You're working in a consistent effort, depending on how well your games do. Um, Kabam has thankfully been fairly successful. We've been, as a company, making games for roughly 10 years. Some of our games are in the top 50 games in the world. So all over the world, people are playing our games. As a studio, we've been profitable for the last 7 years, and that's a healthy place to be. That's the kind of place where you don't get a lot of surprises, but you do get growth. And our games, because of that kind of subscription consistent revenue model, we're not a crunch time kind of culture. We're not like a film, for instance, where a film finishes and there's a lot of extra time to get to that, or crunch time to get to that film being done, or packaged goods like a Xbox or a PlayStation title where the last couple of months are just crazy. It's not the kind of industry that we're in here. We're in a every release you want to have calm, you want to have as few bugs as possible, keep your quality high. If something's in trouble, we push it to the next release kind of model. You want the next slide? So what kind of software engineers do we hire? You would be surprised. We hire a lot of different engineers. We kind of categorize them in big lumps. So what we would call backend engineers, or sometimes called server engineers. We use generally Node.js, which is JavaScript. We use Mongo for database. All this is hosted in the Google Cloud. There's a lot of smaller pieces of technology involved in hosting these kind of games. We do a lot in the cloud. A lot of our games are about responding to user input as fast as possible, tailoring the games to users. So there's quite a bit of backend technology that's built. We also have another group of engineers, client engineers. They generally know Unity. They've programmed in C# before, but other sets of experience, C++, if they've used Unreal, if they've worked in other kinds of engines, is all relevant. So client engineering covers a lot of different people. That might be people that build front-end screens and user experience. That might be somebody that specializes in load times and fixing bugs, these kind of things. We have gameplay engineers, people that might be familiar with animation or user input, cameras, these kind of things. We have data science, machine learning. When we're looking at thousands and thousands of customers joining our game every day, we're looking to see how we can make the game more effective. And a lot of this requires huge amounts of data and then posing questions. Could we improve a user's onboarding experience? Could we convince a user that it makes more sense to go this path than that path? And we need to use data science and machine learning to figure out how do we best craft this content so people enjoy the game. That's kind of a high level, but you'd be surprised what kind of other engineering roles we have. On the server side, we have specialists in things like site reliability engineering, infrastructure. On client, we have specialists in a number of different areas. So kind of giving you a taster plate of what's out there for roles, but there are more. So if you're interested, definitely take a look on the website. Reach out to people like China, and they can help you, see what kind of match makes sense for you. Next slide, China. Thank you. So the next question is interviews. How do we get you through the interview? How do you show your best side? How do we make sure that we're matching up as well as possible? Honestly, one of the first questions I'm going to ask you is to tell me about something you're proud of. Tell me about something you've done that you had passion about or you were excellent in. It may not even necessarily be related to games, but it's something. What I want to see is that you care about the work that you're doing and that you've spent the time to really understand it. A lot of our engineers were looking to make the best of something, which means we really need to understand it. We're not trying to go fast. We're trying to maximize quality. We're looking for well-rounded software engineers. We work in teams of, depending on how you want to measure, 5 to 50 engineers. So we are looking for people that can work well in these kind of groups. So We do code reviews. We have lots of release scheduling and mechanisms to make sure our software is stable. We work very closely with QA, so test for completion, these kind of things. When we're looking at somebody that to be hired, one of the questions we're asking ourselves is, can this person work with a team of other software engineers? And last but not least is potential. Can you show us that you're growing? Can you show us that you've got runway, that you're a year from now you're going to be even stronger? 2 years from now you're going to be doing really cool stuff. When we're looking to hire people, we want to hire people for the long term, and we want to hire people that 2 or 3 years from now are going to be amazing, because we'll give you the opportunities. We'll get to build these skills and use them, but we need people that are interested in growing and doing cool things. That's software engineering in a nutshell. China, do you want to do your little bit, and then we'll get to a question and answer phase?
Sure, yeah, we'll do a Q&A afterwards. So I'll just tell you a bit about Kabam and how to join us and that kind of thing. So at Kabam, we strive to entertain the world by bringing amazing games to the palm of your hand while having fun doing it. I would say the culture of Kabam is one of the best things about working here. It's fun. We do fun stuff. We have fun IPs like Marvel and Disney, and the majority of people here that I've met are just fun and amazing, and it's been really great for me so far. One thing we do have is the Employee Resource Group, our ERG. It is an employee-led group creating safe spaces and events for members, educating and forming allies for the LGBTQ plus community here at Kabam. Uh, People have always been an important part of our company's culture, and the Pride ERG will continue to broaden the opportunities for community members and allies through regular meetings, initiatives, and events. We also have a diversity and inclusion group that we are building here at Kabam, and we're always striving to make this community stronger and larger here at Kabam. So we would love to have you. We would love to bring you in and include you in with us, and bring you in and to be part of our diversity and inclusion committees as well while you are here at Kabam. Different departments at Kabam we do have outside of engineering. We have game design, player retention, marketing, production, live operations, QA, art, UI and UX, and data. So pretty much anything you can possibly think in any kind of business, we do have here at Kabam as well. So if games is something that you're super interested in, we probably have a role that can work for you. So a lot about working here at Kabam, and doing your growth through whatever you're going through. You're working at a bank right now, and that's not for you. You're working at a school, and that's not for you, but you have this big love for games. Look at what kind of soft skills you have that could work for working at Kabam, and then you can come through, talk to us, and see what kind of jobs we have. So what we really look for is, those soft skills that get you to do the job, and then a love for games and a love for that kind of thing. Our games that we have right now in studio are Marvel Contest of Champions, which you've heard John talk about. This is our number one game. This is the one that brings us money, and it makes us able to make new games, prototype new games, and it's really fun. It's also, everything is free to download, so feel free to check out our games online, download them, play them. It's lots of fun. Marvel Realm of Champions is a game that came out at the end of last year. Transformers Forged to Fight has been with us for a while as well. Shop Titans is a game out of our Montreal studio where you get to open a store and kind of curate what's inside it and sell it to other people, and then decorate your shop. It's different than all our other games, and it's really fun. And Disney's Mirrorverse that John's working on right now is an action RPG game with reimagined Disney characters in kind of a dark universe. It's really cool, and it's available for you to play here in Canada, and then worldwide launch is going to be at the beginning of next year. So, coming to work with us, you can check out our career page, which we post new jobs quite often, so feel free to keep updating, keep looking at it. We also post our jobs on LinkedIn often, so feel free to add us to LinkedIn. I'll show you everybody here. Our page is kabam.com/careers, or just kabam.com, and you can click the career button. That works as well. And then you can add us to LinkedIn. This is our talent acquisition team. Joshua Juni, me, China O'Brien, Van Fung, Ryan Cheng, and Johnny Morgan Wong has they're all here and we all hire for different things, but at the same time, we're all part of a big team. So whomever you talk to on your one-on-one meetings while you're here or through LinkedIn, we can always help you with any of the above jobs or show you to the right recruiter. Yeah, so that is it for us with that. I'll open up to a Q&A if anyone has any questions, and if not, me and John could just talk a little more. So if there's any questions, you can always pop it in the chat, or you can turn on your video, and we will be happy to answer your questions there. And if not, then we will just do our own thing. Let's see here. Just close the chat. Anyway, I'll open up again. Does anyone have any questions for John or I? It can be about absolutely anything to do with games. I hire for UX UI as well, so if any questions come up for that, let me know.
One of the questions that came up earlier in the chat was about remote work. What is our remote work situation?
Okay.
We are currently, we do have offices in Vancouver, and some people choose to work in the offices. The vast majority of our workforce is currently remote. Talk with a recruiter, but yeah, remote is definitely an option for most roles.
Yeah, it's correct. I'm actually in Montreal working fully remote right now. We have offices all over Canada. We do have an office in Vancouver, Montreal, and Prince Edward Island here in Canada. So if PEI is ever something you're interested in, you could go there as well. But we do hire people outside of all those places. We have people in Alberta working with us. We have people in Ontario working with us. And even if you are working in one of our hubs where we do have an office, remote is totally open to you as well. It really depends on the job, but most jobs with us now are open full remote. We've been doing it for a year successfully, so it's been a really great thing for us for everything.
Hi, China. I just wanted to let you know that you can probably stop recording the session and